Okay. And it looks like I'm live. One, two. And it looks like I got audio. Now we're just waiting for some people. 3 more minutes. We'll get started. Okay. Hello. It's on. Does this sound okay? And it looks like it's showing up on the screen so you can see yourself. Awesome. I think we had Conjetta was trying to. Says there's 2 people on. And I can't see. Yes, there is a 15-second delay. And I think the reason for that is because we are not using the paid plan. I'll have to double check. Hi, Wanda. How are you? The other thing is there's a setting that I think you have to wait so many seconds so that like one person can't just take over the entire chat. I'll have to double check on that as well. We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. Sweet. Does it sound okay to you guys? Is it clean? Not too noisy? Volume? Hello, Jen Foster. Hey, hey. Good to see you in about an hour. No feedback. Well, that's a good thing. I don't have any volume turned on this end. Sounds great. Awesome. Well, it's like the usual suspects. I'm going to give it just another minute or so. And then I'm going to jump in. Everybody doing good on a Friday? Lucky Live. I need to probably take that down. Except, how can I see it? I need the pause button. Where's it at? There it is. There we go. Can you switch Wi-Fi? Do you have a lag? It doesn't seem like I have a lag. other than the meeting from the time I speak to the time that it actually broadcasts, because it's going on multiple places. There's a little bit of a lag. Yeah. Is it my voice is lagging?
Jan said you have a lag too.
Lag meaning what?
It's cutting out.
Oh, it's cutting off, cutting out. Okay. I'm seeing a lag. What about now? How's the sound? Is it okay? Is it still lagging? Better. Good. Good. All right, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. It's 3:03 right now. At 3:05, we're going to jump on. Better. Great. Thank you, Jim. It's better. Thank you, Susan. Hello, Nell. We're going to be talking again about money. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about more of the psychology of money. So as we get through this, and I continue to do these Lucky Lives, I'm going to get into some specifics. I'm going to get into showing you some actual things that you can do to create income, create influence, things that Don and I do with money. But the thing is, if you don't have your, how do I want to say this? If you've got emotional blocks, which I had for years, then it doesn't matter the things you do. It just seems like they just won't work. And you're like butting your head up against a wall, it just won't work, and you think that it just doesn't work. And it's not that. It's that emotionally, you're not ready to receive it yet. You've got some blocks and you start self-sabotaging. You don't follow through. You think, oh, this doesn't work. Nothing's working for me. And so what I wanted to do today was start to address some of those things that can get in our way, that start blocking us from the flow, because Don and I both had those. And it seemed like no matter what you do, you just can't get ahead, just can't get ahead. And as soon as you start to get ahead, then something happens and you make a little bit of money. And then all of a sudden, the water heater breaks or the transmission goes out in the car or something like that. And then over the last 3 years specifically, as Don and I started to get mentored by some very successful people, and give me just a second here, because if I don't do this, then I'm going to be guessing. Let's see. Sorry about that. This was supposed to be handled before I got started. Okay, there we go. And because of the last 3 years, when we started to get mentored by some, deca, mostly hectomillionaires and a couple billionaires, and started realizing how differently they thought than the average person, or even millionaires. They thought quite a bit different. And it started to change the way we thought, the way we felt, and the things we did. And so the first thing I want to jump into is I want to ask you a couple of questions. So if you guys will participate and let me know in the chats. I got some slides here. I was going to put these up, and then I thought, I'm not going to do that. How do you define a relationship? And do you think that if you are in a relationship with somebody who was emotionally unhealthy, do you think you can have, that's probably an easy yes or no answer. Do you think if you were in a relationship with somebody who was emotionally unhealthy, that you can have a healthy relationship with them? And I know there's that 15-second delay, and I'm going to see what I can do about getting that taken care of for the next one, because I'm sure it's going to kind of jack with how fast things go. Never, Wanda says. Of course. And I think the problem that we have is that we have, a lot of us have an unhealthy relationship with money. And I always say that a relationship is only as healthy as the sickest person in it. And when that sickest person is you, with regards to money, then it can really play havoc and it makes it very difficult to get ahead. And I would submit to you that every thing that you have in your life is a relationship, including your money. It's not just the people. You have a relationship with your car. You have a relationship with your house. You have a relationship with your pets. What is a relationship? It's how you relate. And it's a two-way street. Anybody who's ever owned a piece of crap and complained about it a lot seems like it just keeps breaking down. And then if you don't complain about it a lot, it just seems to go forever. We just had an experience where we sold our car, the car that we used to have, and we had very few problems with it. And it was an old car. It was a 2002. Had very few problems with it. And when it would break down, we just thought, oh, well, things happen. And it was no big deal. Now the person who has that car, they're thinking about selling it because it seems like it's always giving them problems. And why is that? And I can tell you the relationship that they have with that car is different than the relationship that Don and I have. Well, we have a relationship with our money, and that affects how things go as well. And so one of the things that I know about developing a different relationship is understanding that people that have wealth think differently. In fact, they do something differently than most people do. They think. And I know that sounds insulting. What do you mean? I think. Do you think about the things that you're doing, or do you think you're thinking about the things you're doing? Because for one example, I'm going to tell you that. See, how do I say this? I think that you need to start loving your money more. And when I say that, I know immediately some people are going to have a little bit of a little thing come up in their head that, like, money is the root of all evil, right? We've heard that one before. And a lot of people, that's a little defense mechanism that pops up. And it's like, I just said that I think you need to love your money more. But yet that stands in the face of some people, and even people who are not religious, they've still heard that money is the root of all evil. Well, and the reality is money is not the root of all evil. And that's not what it says in the Bible. It says the root of money, or the love of money is the root of all evil. And I had a little aha moment today when I was dissecting this. And this is what I'm talking about. People don't think. It's like, when you hear that, what does it say? Does it say that the love of money is the root of all evil, meaning that money is evil? It doesn't say money is evil. It says that the love of money is the root of all evil. That means if there's an evil, that at the root of that evil is money. It doesn't mean money is evil. It means that at the root. But does it mean all money is the root of all evils? Well, that can't be true either, because how about Adam and Eve? Did they get paid for eating the apple? That was the root of evil, right? But they didn't get paid for it. They didn't even have money back then. So it can't mean that. So what does it mean? I think that you have to define what these words mean. And I think we have to define what the word love means. And I think a lot of people don't, when I say think, they don't think, what does the word love mean? When you say, I love money, for instance, and I can say that now. I didn't used to be able to say that. And I can say I love money now. Let me ask you this. How many of you, anybody have a song that they love? Anybody have a movie that they love? Anybody have a particular pair, some clothing that they love? Does anybody have some food that they love? we love a lot of things, and we can say, oh, I love that car. Oh, I love my house. I love that furniture. I love those drapes. I love that picture. I love my computer. And the minute we say, if I love money, all of a sudden these flags start waving as if somehow it is some way different than all of those other things that we love. And so I suggest that maybe it's not the word, maybe we've misinterpreted the word love. And Dawn has looked in the concordance and she said that in that context, the word love means avarice, which is jealousy, which is manipulation, which is to you, the despiteful use of. It means everything but what the word love means. And if you want to know what the definition of that, look at, what is it, Corinthians 4-7 or 8 or whatever, talks about what is love. And you're all familiar with that because most of you who got married, you got to hear that in your wedding vows, right? When the priest was talking, love is not boastful, love is kind, love is forgiving, love is understanding. And I don't have it memorized by heart, but love is defines what love is, and then that is far from the spiteful using of, or in spite of people. In fact, most people that think of evil when they think of money think of to use money or use people to get the money rather than to use the money to help people. And it's still just money. And so I think it's really important that we get a different understanding and start to have a loving relationship with money. One of the ways that Dawn and I have addressed this, because we had struggled for a long time. We were, middle class, so-called middle class, for a long, long time. And then it wasn't until the last 3 years that things started to change for us. But it started to change as the result of the relationship we have with our money and the fact that we could say we love money. Not in a greedy way, not in a use people to get the money kind of way, but in the same way I love songs. I love those sheets. I love those drapes. I love that song. I love whatever it is. I love that boat. It's in that context. I love that song. I can listen to it. Or I love the movie Count of Monte Cristo. I can watch it a couple times a year. I love that. And that is the context that if you can start to have a relationship with your money and you can start to see it in a context of love, now you start to have a healthy relationship. Now, the next question you have to ask yourself is, what is being loving? If you want to love, then what does that mean? Well, look at it in a romantic relationship. What does it mean when you love somebody? Anybody ever been used in a relationship before? Or anybody use anybody in a relationship before, right? We all know what that feels like to use somebody. We also know what it is like to be used by someone. And it doesn't feel real good when somebody takes what they want, but then they give anything. For instance, you ladies, you want to know more about them. Yes, you want to know more about them. It's not just, I'm going to come over, I'm going to get my rocks off, and then I got to go. I'm never going to take you to a movie. I'm never going to take you to a dinner. I'm never going to buy you any gifts. I'm never going to ask you how your day was. I'm never going to ask you what your dreams are. I'm not going to ask you about your family life. I'm not going to care about your past relationships. I don't care anything about you. Oh, let's just go get naked, right? How does that feel? It feels like crap, unless that's specifically what you're looking for. And then you're using them as well. And if that's the relationship you want where you use each other, that's fine. But I suggest to you, if you want a healthy, happy relationship, that you need to show, and Dawn just wrote it, that take an active interest in that person and find out what are their hopes and their dreams and what do they like and what do they want and what do they need and all that. And so I submit to you that when you start acting loving towards money, and what does that mean? Show an active interest in it. Start reading, start studying, start looking. I read something. No, I heard it from Cody Sanchez actually, who said that if you'll spend 20 minutes a day for 1 year, at the end of the year, you'll know more than 80% of the people in the industry or whatever you're studying. More than 80%. And so start studying about money. And this is what Dawn and I did. We started to study about money. Where did it come from? What is the history? How does it work? And we started to learn some things that flew in the face of what we have thought about money forever. And that was, some of it was a tough pill to swallow. And we had to change the way we felt about money and then ultimately what we started to do with money. But it was taking an active interest in it. Now, I'm going to say this. To spend whatever, 20 minutes a day, and I'm not saying you have to spend 20 minutes a day, but I'm saying it wouldn't be a bad place to start, especially if you're broke. But to spend 20 minutes a day, that's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you time. It's, 20 minutes a day, right? Maybe more than that. It's going to cost you probably some restless nights sometimes, trying to make sense of this new information. When you start reading a lot of books, Dawn and I, we actually have a recorded money talk about how money works and the system and how to leverage it, the rules of the rich. We are going to be putting that out really soon. I'm still finishing the editing of that. We're going to put that together for you guys. And it has some powerful information in there. But when you start learning this stuff and you learn how money really works and the rules of the rich and how the rich are using leverage that you're not using, all of a sudden it changes everything. So that's going to take you some effort, and you're going to have to invest something. But here's the thing. Are you going to have to pay in time? Yes. But here's the thing. You're going to have to pay anyway. You're paying every time you get a bill that you cannot pay for. You're paying every time the car breaks down. You're paying every time an unexpected emergency comes, like in the case of us where we lost the boat because of the hurricane. You're paying anyway. You're paying with your ignorance and not knowing what to do. You're paying by being a slave to the system. You're paying by having to work and give up most of your life. For those of you who think, well, I don't need money, it's not that important. Really? How many hours a day do you spend at a job for something that's not that important? You spend more time working for somebody else to make them wealthy than the people, or the things that you think, that you say are important. Well, then how come you're spending most of your day, 8 hours of your day at someplace you don't even want to be? And so it's going to cost you either way. You can either pay with it with regret, you can pay with it time, you can pay with it with struggle, you can pay with it for the reason why you probably got on this call in the first place is because things weren't working out that great for you. Not as good as you think they should have. Let me ask you this. Are you where you thought you would be 10 years ago? 10 years ago, when you were looking forward, like in 10 years, I can tell you we're not. We're a lot closer now in the last 3 years than we were. But we're not as far as we thought we would be. And you probably aren't either. And so you're going to have to spend some time and you're going to have to pay. Doesn't have to necessarily be money, but you're going to have to pay either way. Whether you don't do anything or you do, either way, it's going to. So I want to go over a few facts with you. Let me ask you this. How much do you think you're going to need when you retire? If you have $80,000 a year income right now, in order for you to retire, you're going to need about $2 million. That's at 4%. So if you can get 4% on your money and you take a draw of 4%, then $80,000, $2 million can produce $80,000 a year in income. So for you to maintain, this isn't I'm going to retire and I'm going to go vacation and I'm going to go take trips and I'm going to do all this stuff. No, just for you to live exactly the way you're living right now, in order for you to be free and retire, you're going to need $2 million. And here's the bad news. That's not counting inflation. The median income right now in America, savings, not income, the median savings in America right now is $5,000. The average American has about $114,000 in consumer debt. That's not counting their house payment. That's just consumer debt. They've got over $10,000 in credit card debt. Most people, when they get to a $40,000 income, they figure that this is what I'm going to consider a comfortable or an acceptable lifestyle. This is what an acceptable lifestyle is. Here's the problem. I'm going to start investing. I'm going to start putting money away for a rainy day. I'm going to start saving. I'm going to start doing these things. I'm going to start studying. I'm going to start doing these things when I have the money to create the free time. And then it never happens, because what happens when you go from $40,000 to $70,000? Well, the Honda Civic now turns into a Lexus. What happens when the income goes from 70,000 to 100,000? Do we start saving? Do we start putting money into investments? We start buying some real estate? Do we start putting some money in the markets? We start buying blockchain assets or cryptos? Or do we do any of that? No, because when we go from 70 to 100, what do? We take the Lexus and now we go to a Mercedes. We take the apartment, we upgrade to a house. We take a house and we upgrade to the brick home in the fancy neighborhood. What we do is every time we have an increase in our income, we increase our lifestyle. And we never ever get to the place where we get to where our money's working for us. And what do we got going on in the chat? So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this real quick. How fast do you want to build a relationship? Don't be casual. That's what Dawn said. They get a membership at a country club. Yes, they do. Replying to Don Reed, that was one of the things I did not do. My pension takes care of the basics. Now inflation's cutting into it. Exactly. And so this is what people are having to deal with. And I'm going to close that out now because I don't need to see that anymore. So I want you guys to start to, we've got a few more minutes left. I want you guys to start to develop a healthy relationship with money. Start looking at money differently. Start looking at it like you're in a relationship with it, just like you would a person, or just like you would. Anybody have a car, and when you're driving down the road, and you know your car starts, and Dawn just do this with her Challenger, and she'd pat the dash and say, "Good girl," right? Have a relationship with that car. Start treating your things, including your money, like you're in a relationship with them, because you are. And I can tell you that, people talk about luck all the time. Oh, they're so lucky. He's so lucky. And I'm going to suggest to you that luck is the only thing that separates you from luck is when you're reacting to your life in a personal way. Life seems to respond to you in a personal way. In fact, it's always responding to you in a personal way. Sometimes that personal way is, you're being an ass right now, and I don't like you very much, and so I'm going to leave. And those are the kinds of experiences we have. I named my truck. Good for you, Conjetta. Absolutely. And so you want to have a relationship with your things, and you want to have a relationship with money. So start spending time thinking about your money in the context of something that's personal. This is what Dawn and I did, and it totally changed the way we started feeling about money. And now we're not afraid of it. I used to be afraid of relationships and people leaving. And when now we don't have that anymore. Troy Randall, where did it go? I have 7 ounces on there. Oh, you're talking, okay. Inflation markets. Gotcha. I didn't see Randall's. Where is Randall's? I don't know where that comment went. Maybe I did not seeing it on my screen. But anyway, so those are a few things that I just wanted to start to get you thinking a little bit different about your money. And I mean, it's made all the difference for us. It is something that, let me ask you, how many of you are afraid of money? Anybody afraid of money? There's Randall, I see it. How does one create leverage? We're actually going to talk about that, Randall. Not today, but we are going to talk about leverage, because leverage, we actually talk about this in our money talk that we're getting ready to put it's Path to Freedom webinar that we put together, and we've already done that, but I'm actually packaging it so that we can put it out. We talk about leverage because that is actually the most important thing that you need is leverage. A lot of people think, it takes money to make money. Well, yes and no. Money can be a form of leverage, but it's not the only form of leverage. There are a lot of forms of leverage, and we're going to get into what those forms are because Dawn and I, we used to believe that it takes money to make money too, except for when we started about 3 years ago. Let me rephrase this. When we started over 3 years ago, we had no money. We got completely wiped out financially. We were down to $10 or actually $22. By the end of the day, Thanksgiving Day, 2020, we had $3 and we had no money. But we were able to leverage some relationships. We were able to leverage time. So I'm going to get into that. You're also going to want to leverage systems. You're going to want to leverage other people's knowledge. You're going to want to leverage technology. And I'm going to get more into that kind of stuff as we go through having these talks every Friday, these Lucky Lives. I'm going to show you some of the tools that we use. I'm going to show you some of the websites we use. For instance, right now to do this Lucky Live, I'm using a piece of equipment software. It's called OBS Studio. OBS Studio is free software, and it's absolutely free. And it allows you to, it's an open broadcast software is what it is, open broadcast system. And it allows you to broadcast to multiple places. And right now we are broadcasting to another place called, what was one we use? Restream. And then Restream is playing it here and it's playing it on YouTube as well. And right now we're just using the free version. Eventually, once I get better at doing this and get a little more comfortable, because this is brand new to me and talking to a camera is a little bit strange. This lag is definitely I need to work on that. But leveraging these technologies, and I'm going to go through and show you how I set things up. How do I set up? How do I link accounts together? I'm going to go through the nuts and the bolts. The software we use, the whiteboard. I've got a whiteboard that I use. How do I do a whiteboard and do it live? And I'm going to give you an example of how that works. But the thing is to get your money mindset right first. Trying to think of what book you might want to read first. I'm going to think about this. I will post a book on my Facebook page. Let me give this some thought. I'm gonna post on my Facebook page some resources that I think that would be very helpful. I'll tell you one book that I would start with. There is a book by Jen Sincero called "You Are a Badass." And it's really about the psychology. And it really, I think for me, it was a pretty powerful book because it talks a little bit about the law of attraction and stuff in a way that I'd never heard, like the gurus or whatever. Just think about what you want and it'll magically appear. And that kind of, I don't want to say nonsense because there's some truth to it, but you have to go into major action as well. Law of attraction is also law of action. And so if you're avarice, Dawn's talking about money. So that might be a good book to start with. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Getting to where you have a personal relationship with your money. And I will just say that now, money is almost like playing a video game. If anybody's ever played any video games where you're playing a video game and you're struggling and it's like when I was a kid, I used to play for hours and I'd get really upset and I'd get mad. And my mom's like, "Why don't you just quit?" And I'm like, "Because I'm having fun." And she's like, "What do you mean? You're having fun? Doesn't sound like it." But the fun came from overcoming the obstacles. The fun came from achieving the goal and getting to the next level. And so I think of things now in money like playing a game. And because of it, I'm not stressed out about money. And money, sometimes it flows more and sometimes than others, but it doesn't matter. because it's just like a relationship. Sometimes Don and I are having more fun than other times. Doesn't matter. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and maybe give you guys some tips on how to start creating a better relationship with money, how to start thinking differently about it, and more importantly, how to start feeling different about it. And I know to some people that like, oh, well, I just give me the nuts and bolts. Just give me the nuts and bolts. Here's what I want to say in closing. You already know that stuff. You already know the nuts and bolts. Here's the problem. The problem is not that we don't know what to do. We do know what to do. If you wanted to be healthy, what would you do? You would start eating right. You would start exercising, right? You'd sleep well. You'd start meditating. You'd start stretching. You'd start doing different things, but you don't do it. If you didn't know, like, well, I don't know what to eat. Oh, well, shit, really? I don't know. Maybe there's an invention. I don't know if you guys heard this. This is amazing. You can go to this place. It's called YouTube, and you can type anything. And I know I'm being condescending right now, but the fact is that anything that you want to know how to do, you can do it. You can go there and get information. Now, sometimes you got to do some dumpster diving, and sometimes it's better just to pay somebody to get the information. But you know what to do. If you wanted to have, if there's anything you want, if you wanted to have more energy, if you wanted to, whatever it is, you know what to do. You know to go find somebody who has the information and learn, but most of us don't do that. Most of us just sit around and bitch and complain, or we make New Year's resolutions, and then by February, most of you have already stopped. Don and I have not stopped. In fact, I hopped on the scale today, 204 pounds solid. And that's for I'm stuck on 204. I was at 204, like 0.5. Then I went up to 205. And then I went back to 204.3. And then it's 204, 204, 204, 204. And I'm stuck there right now. I was at 240 just, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, whenever it was, 4 or 5 months ago. So we know what to do. We just don't always do it. And so, and I want to leave you with this, that there is a difference between successful and unsuccessful. There is a difference between exceptional and average, common, ordinary, mediocre. And the difference is that the successful do, let me say it back the other way. The unsuccessful, the common, the average, the ordinary, the mediocre, they do what they need to do. They do what they're supposed to do when they feel like it. When they're in the mood. I don't want to work out today. I want to eat the donut. I don't want to eat right today. I don't want to study today. I don't want to do this, that, or the next thing. So average, common, and ordinary is doing the things that you know you need to do. I need to spend some time studying. I need to spend some time studying for my captain's license. I need to spend time studying marketing. I need to spend some time learning about social media. I need to learn some time about investing and where my money grows and how money grows. I need to learn about money. I need to spend some time. The average person knows that. They know that there are plenty of books. There's a book called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. That's not an easy read, but it's about money. There are plenty of books of money about Morgan Housel wrote The Psychology of Money. There's so many money books. How many of you read? You know you should read books. You know they're out there. You know you could go out there and look at the best money books online, and you could find a list. You know you could probably go to the #1 selling money books on ChatGPT, and it'll tell you what the best books are. You know to do that, but you haven't done it. And see, the average person will do it sometimes. They'll do it when they feel like it. The successful people, the uber successful, the pros, they don't do things when they feel like it. They do the things that they're supposed to do because they committed to doing it. So that's the difference between, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you've been, we heard a video today by Ed Milet, that you've been too casual about it. So the unsuccessful do it when they feel like it. The exceptional do it because they keep to their commitments. They just do what they have to do. And so anyway, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Next week, I'm going to do me a favor. This would be so much help because one of the things that I'm going to be struggling with is giving you content that I think is going to be important to you guys. So if you guys will give me a track to run on, if you will go to my Facebook page, which you're probably on there right now, and in the chat, write down or private message me would be even better. If you could private message me and tell me, what do you want to know about? What could I share with you? And I will share with you our experience. If I don't have any experience in what you're talking about, then I'm not going to share it because I'm not going to talk theory. I'm going to talk about what we have experience with. I said it last week when I was talking to you guys. I cannot teach you how to go from 1 million to 10 million. I can teach you how to go from 0 to 1 million though. And so you tell me what you think is stopping you. What do you need? What direction do you need? Where do you need help? And I will point you in the right direction. And then next week, I will address whatever the most popular is. I will address it here and I'll tell you what we are doing, what we have done, how we're doing it, what we're using, who we're using, who our mentors. I will start sharing all that stuff with you guys and make it really easy. And it's already 3:38, so I need to run. But anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. I'm glad to have you here. This is still a little bit clunky, I know. Because of the lag in the chat, that's a problem. I'm going to see about fixing that and see if I can't shorten that way down. Also, I know that you can't text and keep texting or messaging because there's a hold. I think I can fix that too. So let me, we're just getting this dialed in. So be a little bit patient with me until we start getting a little system here, and I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable talking into a camera. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But anyway, it's my pleasure and my honor to serve you and help you guys. One of the things that 3 years ago, sitting on now I'm going to get emotional. 3 years ago, sitting on a bridge. I was a bridge tender for the state of Florida, and things weren't not going very well. They weren't going bad. They just weren't going. Anybody feel like that? Like I was going through the motions, going to my job. It was just every day was Groundhog's Day. Go to the job, make enough money to pay the bills, come home, couldn't really do anything. Every once in a while, we go to the beach, and fortunately we lived at the beach. But it just seemed like every day was the same. Every day was the same. Every day was the same. And we had these big dreams that we wanted to go cruise around the world, and we're getting closer and closer to that every day. And it was very hard on me emotionally. And for a while I was checking out, playing video games, just trying to be occupied till I could figure out what could I do? What could I do? And I didn't know what to do. And so I was stuck in that place. And if you're stuck in that place, I want to address that stuff. And the reason why is because when I was on that bridge, I said, if you will just help me, point me in the right direction, show me what to do, and I'll do the work. And lo and behold, some people were put on my path to show me what to do, at least for the next step. It wasn't ultimately where we are now, but it was the next step, the next step, the next step. And I swore that if you just help me, then I will do the same when things turn around for us, and things have turned around for us. And now we live on a beautiful little island off the coast of Belize, about 25 miles off the coast of Belize, in a gorgeous villa. I'm doing this from my office/bedroom. So because Dawn's office is the living room / dining room. And the only other room in the house in the condo is the other bedroom, and it's smaller than this. And I thought, we could do a big fancy production and set everything up. And we're going to be doing a podcast here soon. But I wanted this to just be personal. Just, I'm in my bedroom. I'm in my office. This is, and so I just wanted to share with you guys the real raw how to's, what fors, and how things work. So Randall, come let me know. Send me a private message on maybe some specifics on what do you think is holding you guys back, and we're going to talk about everything. Whatever you want to talk. If you want to talk about health, Dawn and I are both ambassadors for 10X Health, and the transformation that's happened in our bodies is incredible. We're getting healthier every single day, getting younger every single day. It's absolutely amazing. Even the mental clarity is better, and it's all like biohacking and stuff. And it's just it's miracle stuff. So we can talk about that. We can talk about business. We can talk about building a business. We can talk about whatever, technology, social media, marketing, any of that stuff. So you just let me know. And with that, it's 3:43. I'm going to run. But thank you guys for joining us. And I love you all. Have a blessed week. And I'll see you next Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And ta-ta for now.